Welcome everyone, I'm Justin Paperny. In just a little bit, I'm going to turn it over to this video called 6 Ways to Get Thrown Out of the Drug Program and Lose Your Early Release. Disclosure, I filmed this video, I think it was 5 years ago, and I'm electing to finally post it today because I received a call from a very nice woman whose husband violated rule number 5. You'll learn in this video, violated rule number 5. He's been thrown out of the drug program and he's going to lose a year off of his sentence. And naturally, the family is devastated. A year is a very long time. So that's why I'm finally filming this video. Quick disclosure, I think there are some days in the content creation business you probably shouldn't film. I think the day I filmed this video was one of those days. The content is great, it just didn't sound great. But if you can get through it, you're going to benefit from it, especially if you want to get into and complete this program. So I'm going to shut up now and turn it over to this video I filmed 5 years ago that I call 6 Ways to Get Thrown Out of the Drug Program.
Hi, it's Justin Paperny. I'm very grateful to be with you and that you're taking some time to learn more about the residential drug abuse program through me. Admittedly, I've started and stopped this video a handful of times, and frankly, it has nothing to do with the content. The content in each video is the same. It's just that in watching a video that I'll actually put a portion of up in the corner, I'm not going to play it. I spent about 2 hours filming, editing, doing my thing, and I watched it, and I didn't love my attitude. In fact, I was a little grumpy, and I didn't really understand why. It wasn't because I was talking so much about prison. I watched it again and again, and I asked my wife to watch it, and I said, "Don't I look kind of mean here?" And she said, "Yeah, that's not you." And I said, "I can't show this. If I was on my way, or when I was on my way to prison, I wouldn't have liked this." And I think what happened before I filmed that video was I received a really frustrating call from a defendant who, regardless of what I tried to say to him, or rather inspire, put things in place that he could implement, there was just so much resistance. It was easier just to remain cynical, and I was just very frustrated that I couldn't get through to him. And then I immediately went to film, and that bad attitude, I think, or my frustration at not being able to help someone who's going away for a few years for a white-collar crime, it upset me. So for that reason, I'm going to do it all over again. And if anyone watching we end up working together, I'll show you that video and walk you through what I frankly did so poorly and why I'm glad I'm making this decision to refilm. So let's transition into the obligation. I promised you by opting in to learn more about the substance abuse program that I would deliver a video to you of 6 ways to get thrown out of the drug program. Now, I don't want to waste your time on some obvious things that could get you thrown out of RDAP, like smoking, or drinking, or tattooing, or gambling, or engaging in the wrong sort of hustle. There are obvious things of fighting, sex. There are obvious things that will get you thrown out of prison or transferred to a higher security prison, sent to the hole. So I don't want to waste your time on that. That's very obvious. But to these 6 rules, number 1 is very difficult for many of my clients because it revolves around snitching. We've all watched TV, snitches get stitches, these cliches, it's sensationalized in TV. And I often say that clients don't email me about RDAP, but rather they send me letters. And in the video that I would have showed, I held up the letter and read it, but now that I'm doing a screen share, I'll just read it here. It says, number 1, Justin, your clients really need to know. Snitching is a big deal. Basically, you must report people for violations of the rules. For example, if someone has an apple from the chow hall, then you must report them. Admittedly, this is a problem for some, and some quit the program because of it, and some get thrown out if they don't snitch. So I might be one of the few guys to say that RDAP's not right for everyone, and it is not. You should weigh the pros and cons of the program. And if you're uncomfortable and if it is of higher value to you to not snitch or talk about one of your buddies, then you should consider that. And RDAP might not be right for you. If you believe that it's part of the recovery and in holding others accountable, as the RDAP program would like you to believe, then it shouldn't be a problem for you because it's all about responsibility and calling others out and not remaining complicit in their bad behavior. So that's number 1, snitching. Number 2, as a white-collar offender, you might owe criminal restitution, as I did. I made payments in prison, and you will too, most likely. So if you're in RDAP, it's essential that you pay your FRP or financial responsibility program. Certainly if you're making amends towards your victims and addressing your addiction issues and making amends to the victims, it would make clear that you pay your restitution. For clarity, there are some really good guys who totally intend to pay their FRP, but they might overspend in the commissary. And then they might overspend in the commissary, then when it's time for the prison to take the FRP payment, there could be no money there. So some guys willingly don't pay out of spite or vengeance. They'll say, you got me, you got my, I'm in prison, you've gotten enough, you're also not getting my money. So there are those guys. But there's also those who simply forget to keep money in their account, and there are repercussions for it. So number two, an easy way to get thrown out of the program is to not pay your FRP. Number three is a little more nuanced because it's like, how do you define faking it to make it? But the third way to get thrown out of the substance abuse program is faking it to make it, essentially not engaging in the lifestyle. So in phase one, in phase one in RDAP in prison, you're going to meet with a drug specialist. And they're going to outline a treatment plan for you. And you're going to meet with them throughout the duration. If they don't believe that you're changing your lifestyle and showing signs of progress, or that you're lazy, or you're not showing humility, in other words, you think you're better than other people, talking so much about your crime, essentially sleeping in your queue before 4 o'clock, watching TV, criminal shows on TV, violence, essentially thinking that you're better than others while not engaging in the program. For example, there's a small group module to RDAP. And if you're not engaging, if you're not sharing the challenges that you're facing, if you're not holding others in that small group accountable, they're just going to say, you know what, you're faking it to make it, which is an often used cliche in RDAP. And if it goes on long enough, they're going to throw you out. More than 90% of people don't complete the program or get in for a reason. Some are faking it to make it. Number four, media. I wrote a blog every day in prison through my reputation management course. I have a number of clients that blog. I'm working on some books with clients. That's all good. Just understand when you're in the substance abuse program, you want to lay low. I received a letter from a client that said, Justin, with regards to blogging and media, we had an incident in the RDAP program here where a guy was removed from the program and sent to a low. His girlfriend had put something in the local paper regarding him coming home in a few months. The prosecutor took offense and made sure he lost his year for RDAP. So the new rule is no media. I say new because if you were to Google that, you wouldn't find it. In fact, many of the other changes for RDAP that I learn about weekly through letters that I receive are not online. Some of the changes I don't put online because it's so sensitive, and frankly, I share it with my clients. If you'd like to learn more about them, reach out to me, 818-424-2220. No, I'm not holding with information with the goal that you'll call to get it. That's not what I do. You see how much free content I deliver. It's just some of these changes are nuanced, and they vary based on the prison. Are you in a low? Are you in a camp? Some of it revolves around how you've adjusted and what you're doing. So I'm not dodging it, but rather each case is different, and I'd be happy to discuss it with you. So avoid the media. That U.S. attorney could be upset you're in the program. He could think it's a get-out-of-jail-free card. He might have denied the recommendation at your sentencing, but you still got into the program. In fact, a number of my clients have had U.S. attorneys not recommend or disapprove of the program, but based on their preparations and evidence, things I got into in the video you watched, they get into the program, they complete it, and they come home. Just don't rub it in their face. And that's what that person did with his girlfriend going to the media. Number five, associating with the wrong people. Now, I'm hard on myself. I don't give myself enough credit. I always think I could be doing more. But one thing I did really well in prison, I associated with the right people. Because staff might be a little, It might appear as if they're not watching or paying attention, but I assure you they are. And if they see you associating with people who are complaining, who blames the judge or prosecutor for their case, who blames victims, who is not embracing the RDAP precepts, who are not showing levels of humility, not engaging in the groups, and just generally acting really like number three, faking it to make it, unfortunately, they're just going to hold you accountable and presume you're a part of it. For example, if in a camp, if your bunkie escapes, the first thing they do is send you to the hole and question you and say, what did you know? What did he do? When did he tell you? And your response would be, I had no idea the guy was going to escape. Well, with RDAP, if you're associating with people violating the rules, they're going to presume that you too are violating the rules. And this is where it becomes nuance. They might not just immediately throw you out, but if they see a pattern without change, you're gone, or you'll quit because you find the program to be just too stressful. So I want you to pay particular attention to the people with whom you associate. Are they grateful? Do they complain? Do they bitch? Are they making fun of others? Some white-collar offenders, and I'm not judging you because I don't know you, but some white-collar offenders act as if they're better than others based on their education, background, and status they might have achieved. It just doesn't go well. And frankly, it's part of the reason I had so few white-collar offender friends in prison. And if you read Lessons from Prison, you'll know why. Number 6, remaining honest and authentic. Let's not forget that when you call home, those phone calls are recorded. When you send letters, they could capture that letter and read it. When you send emails, it's recorded. And so much like they can read the emails and listen to your phone calls, if you're saying one thing in recovery and acting with humility in recovery and accountability and holding others accountable and being open-minded and showing gratitude for getting treatment and so on, then you call home and say, this program's a total joke. I'm only doing it for the time off. I'm so glad I'm nearly out of this place. The people here are losers. It's a total waste of time. They're going to hear that. And that's a problem. In fact, that's part of the reason my clients won't even email me, because even if they're being honest and would say, well, there are parts of the program I don't like, it can be inferred negatively, even though they're really benefiting. And I'll tell you, more than 90% of my clients really benefit from RDAP. They really like it. Still, you don't ever want to write negatively about it because they're going to call you a contradiction, a liar. So quickly as I close, 6 things that could easily get you thrown out of RDAP. Snitching, not paying your FRP, faking it to make it, media, no media, associating with the wrong people, and showing a disconnect between what you say in a module group or to your counselor versus what you email, call, or write through good old snail mail to your family. I hope you found value in this video. On a personal note, I've been out of jail since 2009, and I caught myself a couple of times last year feeling somewhat desensitized to prison. When I heard that I got 18 months, it felt like a life sentence. And now that I've been doing this full time for 7 years and worked with great guys that range from having a few bucks left to their name to those worth $1 billion and everything in between, and hearing every range of sentence you could believe, from probation to 3 months to 18 years, I had become a little desensitized to this process. And in the video that I didn't film, or put up, I should say, some of that came through, and I was disappointed in myself. So that's why I'm doing this again. Regardless of the length of time that you're looking at, I know this experience is difficult. And I do believe the only way to overcome it is through hard work and with a plan. Indeed, many good guys in prison work really hard. I'm talking white-collar guys with degrees from the best schools. They work hard, but there's no data or evidence that suggests what they're working on will actually pay off upon their release. So they might go down a road for 3, 4, or 5 months and wake up and say, wow, there's no market for this and I've wasted time. So when I say I did everything right, it's because I knew I was working on things that would translate to the life I wanted to live upon release. So to you, your life upon release will be easier if you have a shorter prison term. It will be less costly because if you complete RDAP, I estimate it will save you at least $100,000 a year. Life is easier the shorter you serve in prison, the better you mitigate. And once you're there completing RDAP. So to succeed and to ensure you don't get thrown out of the program, embrace these 6 lessons that I shared, and success will be more likely. And if you'd like to chat with me, I'd welcome the conversation. I'm not an aggressive sales guy. I'll give you the best advice I have right now based on your life and situation, and I'd really welcome the call. 818-424-2220. And I hope to hear from you all soon, and thank you so much for your time. I know you're all very busy. Bye-bye.